So today I want to talk about a very, very special project that's one of my all-time favorite projects in music history. And we're going to be talking about Michael Jackson's most forgotten project of his whole career. And do you guys know what project that is? 1997's short film Ghost. Yeah. And before we go, in case you guys aren't familiar, because some of the biggest fans aren't familiar with it or they don't talk about it, I'm going to show you. So this is a short film right here. Yeah, I got like clean copies of everything. So this is a short film right here. See that? Amazing, right? Yeah. And here's here's a single that I ordered from eBay from overseas for Europe. History Ghost. You see that right there? And then this is the Blood on the Dance Floor. Oops. Blood on the Dance Floor CD that I got. Many CDs I got for Christmas over the years. I got this one when I was like in 8th grade, I believe. My brother got it for me. But anyway, so I wanted to talk about this project because it was so me. I love the first of all, I love the fact that him and Stephen King worked on. I hope I'm saying his name right. I love Stephen King's books, and I've read a few of them. I own a few of them, and I was so excited when I found out that he actually helped Michael with this project. I remember being about a good like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I remember watching this on TV in my aunt's living room in her house. My late aunt, may she rest in peace. Me and my cousin, one of my closest cousins, who's like a sister to me, we were watching this and we laughed the whole entire time because it was so comical. And I love like horror and like comedy mixed together, and Michael did a good job with that. So yeah, it was a cool time. So for those people that don't understand the synopsis of the story, basically this short film was about a lot of the scrutiny he faced around that time in his life, feeling like an outsider, people calling him weird, the accusations he faced. Because I remember looking at it, it was called Normal Village or something like that, meaning he was seen as not normal. So he basically put a lot of what was going on in his real life into this film, and I could have thought of a better plot twist. So he played four characters. Okay, he played himself, the Mr. Rio. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but the guy that wore the white top with the black. He played the mayor. He plays a skeleton because the skeleton dances to "Is It Scary," which is one of my favorite songs. Oh, by the way, Teddy Riley, you did a good job on the Ghost song and "Is It Scary." Y'all did a phenomenal job. Those beats, amazing. Yeah, he played the skeleton and he played this really, really like ugly, like ghost creature that, oh, are you scared now? Yeah, yeah, that was good. So basically, I enjoyed this film because it taught me a lot about prosthetics, and also around that time, that was one of the first few times that a lot of special effects and CGI and things of that nature was used in music videos. He was actually one of the first people to do that. It was new at the time, and that cutting edge technology really, really, really brought out the project. And I found out that he spent way more on this they spent way more on this video to make than they did with Thriller, because he was trying to go like double, like for everything Thriller was, he was always trying to top himself. So with this, he was trying to make it like bigger and better. The thing about Michael is he loves horror just like I do. You know, I remember watching stuff like In the Dark growing up, and it didn't really scare me that much. That's just how it was, I guess. And I said, you know what, for everything this is, I looked at my cousin, I said, I love this. I said, can we find this on DVD somewhere? Because I'm so digging this right now. I was like 6 years old saying that because I always loved art. I love film and I love music. And I found out when I got older that this film actually made the Guinness World Records for longest music video, because technically it is a music video, but it's a short film. And he broke that record. It's 39 minutes long. That is 1 minute from being 40 minutes long. See how I just did that? Yeah. So yeah, he almost made it to 40 minutes, but hey, 39 is good. I'm gonna see if I can do 40 one day. I'll make him proud. The song is called Ghost, but he incorporated Ghost, another song called Is It Scary. He also did a song from the History album titled Too Bad. And I remember watching that and watching the choreography. I said, this is the first time I seen a bunch of dancing ghosts. I said, this is so crazy. Like this is like incredible. You do a good job at that. Oh look, Y'all see this right here? Yeah, this is watching me at all times. When I'm like sleep, when I'm moving around, he's with me at all times. Yeah, and I have him standing up here next to another uh thingy that look just like me. Yeah, don't let me make. I don't want him to fall now. Don't fall. Stand up straight. Anyway, so the film is like a joyride through time, and it's a good way if parents, if you got like a kid that's like scary, scared of horror stuff, have them watch Ghost because it's not scary, and it'll give them another outlook on what horror is, and teach them not to be so afraid. I mean, it taught me because for some reason y'all gonna laugh at me when I say this, but when I was a kid, Thriller really scared me like a lot. I don't know what it was, but like when he started doing this and he went down, he looked up in his face. I remember being so petrified. I was terrified as a kid. And I said, whatever, if Michael wanted you to be scared and entertained at the same time, I was definitely that. Cause every time the film would come on, I would like, when he would pull up in the car or whatever with, with the female, I know her name, but I'm having a brain fart right now, but I know who she is. I love you if you're watching. If I ever meet you one day. Anyway, when y'all pulled up, I was like, here we go. Because they played it over and over and over again. And fun fact I found out is my engineer who I work with now, who worked on my two new EPs that's yet to be released. They should be coming out sometime this summer. He said that was actually the film that he watched to get over his fear because I guess when he was younger, when he was a kid, he used to be afraid of horror films. And what's weird is I wasn't afraid of scary movies, but that scared me. I don't know why. But he said he sometimes goes back to watch that to revisit um overcoming his fear because that music video helped him to do that because it had everything. It had the spooky music and the full moon and stuff like that. So I don't know what it was, but Ghost wasn't scary. I enjoyed Ghost. And if I had to choose between Thriller and Ghost, I would honestly say that Ghost was like the best one. Y'all gonna tear me up for saying that. I love both of them so much, but if I had to choose, most people would choose Thriller. I would choose Ghost simply because I love the special effects and I love the flying. I love the costumes. I love the makeup and the artwork. Like if I was to do a short film, it would be more like that one because it was just something about it that was just so special. I think that also it was like the technology because there was a gap between when Thriller came out and then when Ghost came out. There was more technology and you could do more. So he really poured everything into it from the set to the costumes, everything. And I remember when this was when I realized that I loved entertainment because I actually, when I was a child, I wanted to be a actor first. I didn't want to be a singer at first. I wanted to be an actor. And I remember watching the behind the scenes clips of Ghost when it went off. They had when they were getting them ready and stuff. And I said, this is incredible. I said, like, you can really transform and be anything you want to be. This is crazy. I said, I love this. And I said, I want to do that one day. I said, this looks like so much fun. And uh, it's fun, but it's a lot of work. I started doing plays. Let me tell you guys something. You always like, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to do. Yeah, you can do it, but you got to make sure you connect to your character. And let me tell you something. You can't just stand on stage and stand in front of no camera and say whatever the heck it is you want to say. I actually just came from rehearsal tonight during the taping of this, and they were like, who don't know their lines? I was like, I have a monologue, but I memorized most of it. But the play is actually next week, so I need to make sure I'm on it by next Thursday. But anyway, back to Ghost. It was an incredible, incredible, incredible experience seeing that as a kid. And I can't explain the life that comes into me. A lot of y'all may think I'm crazy or whatever, but when it comes to music and performance art, I can't explain the life that it pours into me. I remember he had me like this when I was watching it. And then I remember when the ghost was going up the pillar when they were dancing, the ghost had went through and had fell. Me and my cousin started laughing. I said, I could do that. I said, this is incredible. I said, I want to do that one day. But what really, really, really got me about this project is it did not receive the same acclaim that a lot of his other stuff did. And I always wondered why so many people overlooked Ghost and why we don't ever talk about it to this day. It's said to be a cult classic amongst, the following, amongst the fans. But, whenever I'm interacting with another like Michael fan or another another person that knows his catalog will, they never talk about that one. We talk about everything else, but it just seemed like Ghost is kind of one of those things that's kind of, it's like it's, I don't know, it's like it's hiding underneath a blanket somewhere, and no one wants to uncover it, peel back the layers, and talk about how amazing that short film was. And then to make matters worse, I can't find it nowhere. I have it here, but I was trying to play it in my Blu-ray player, y'all, and it won't play. And then I was trying to play it in my computer. I guess I can put it in my old laptop and see if it play now that I'm thinking about it. But I can't find it on any streaming platform with all the technology we have now. I can't find it nowhere. It's like it's like a lot of people just kind of forgotten about it. And I don't like, what is that about? Like, I don't get it. You know, I don't mean to be so over dramatic, but it was one of those projects I feel like was very much ahead of its time. It was ahead of its time, and it was just something that was just really magical. And I don't mean to repeat myself, but we didn't realize that, looking, us who saw that film when it came out back in, what was it, 1997, I believe it was, you know, I don't think that we realized that we were looking at something that was going to go on to be, used again and again in music videos, because, by the 2000s, by like '01, '02, people were using CGI, people were using special effects, people had crazy makeup and costumes and the cameras, everywhere. It was just a lot. It was a lot to it that we ended up seeing over and over again. And that's why I always wonder why, why this particular project that Michael did never really received the praise and the acclaim that it should have received, but I am one of those people. I just showed you guys my CDs that I have for it. So I do have copies, hard. Those are like hard, like clean copies that I have of it. And I'm going to keep it for the rest of my life and pass it to whoever, when the time comes. But Ghost is one of his most underappreciated, most prestigious, most expensive, biggest projects. And I found out recently, I didn't notice, but he had planned it years in advance. The thing about it is, sometimes when we see artists do these really big projects and we see all of the stuff that goes into it, they've already written it or came up with it like 2 or 3 years prior. Like Mariah Carey's Glitter film, for an example. She had wrote that, came up with that around the time she released the Butterfly record back in '97. So it was already in the works. But sometimes when artists have a lot of different things, or they had their hands in different pots, sometimes they'll start writing something and then they'll like come back to it later on, or they may rework it, or they may add more ideas. Cause life moves, and as life is moving, you get new ideas. So you may want to go back and change some things or rework some things. So he was cooking this up like crazy. And I remember in the if you guys find it online somewhere, in the making, I did remember him saying like, "We gonna go big." He said bigger than Thriller. And they were like, "Yeah, bigger than Thriller." Everybody kept saying bigger than Thriller. But it was, as far as the work that went into it, the cost, and how grounded they were, the choreography. Like, he never danced like that in anything he did. You guys saw he was moving on the floor with and the way he was moving his legs, and he was like shifting and going on. He's never danced like that before. So the choreographer and the creative directors did a good job. Teddy Riley is a freaking genius when it comes to production. I absolutely love everything he's done. He's incredible. I hope to meet him one day and just tell him he's incredible. I think pretty much everybody he's worked with, most people he's worked with, I own something by him in here, his name on it. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, you guys did an amazing job on the history record. The songs you guys did, especially Scream, amazing. I love it. And that was a big deal to see two of my two favorite artists ever collaborating together, who just so happen to be related. Yes, I know. Amazing, right? It's amazing. Although being compared to Thriller by some people, though, I will say that Ghost was more focus driven on his personal life, and it was more character driven. It was more, he just put more into it. So, if you guys watch this video, if you go back, watch Ghost, watch Thriller, like on YouTube somewhere, and just really compare the two. And, in the comment section, I'm just curious. All the other MJ fans, I'm just curious. I want everybody to give your honest opinion in the comments. Like, you could put either Thriller is the best one or Ghost is his best one out of the two. Like, put which one you prefer. I own them both, and I have them both, and I have the book on Thriller. But I wanted to make this video because I just want to kind of raise some re-awareness about one of the greatest, film titles and events in history. Yes, I said it, in history. Oh, that one was called History. That's right. Yeah. No, I just realized something. Anyway, yeah, this was one of the greatest titles and events on television events ever, and it never got a formal release, but it did premiere at the Cannes Festival in 1997, so that was good because the Cannes Festival was like a really big deal. I haven't done a research on it yet, but I know it's very important for films, so I'm happy that he at least got to do that. So yeah, but anyway, his legacy will continue to live on. You guys go watch Ghost. Say what you think in comments about the film, and yeah. Until next time, I just wanted to raise some awareness. Don't forget to go out into the world and don't be a moment, be a lifetime. Okay, and always, always, always remember to find a reason to smile. Okay. So until next time, much love.